Hey guys, welcome back to Let's Play Legend of Dragoon. And since last time, I managed to level up the little bit of the of Albert's edition that I wanted to. Just got him, I think it was 12, well, more like 15 more, but he's maxed out on Flower Storm. It's not that I'm going to be using it in the upcoming boss fight. It's just kind of the way I like to, this is my measuring point. By this point, I need to have this done, etc., etc. I also fought a couple more battles with Congo, which got him his level 5 Dragoon, and he learned his Earth Dragoon summon there. There he is. The Golden Dragon, which, like all of his other ones, are completely useless because his magic stat sucks balls. Anyway, as for my strategy for the upcoming boss fight, we want the Soul Eater, and you pretty much have no choice. You have to choose characters, at least the way I'm doing it, you have to choose characters that have their Dragoon armor. So in this case, Dart has his. He's required for the fight anyway, but so yeah, want him with as much damage as possible. You can try swapping out the therapy ring, though I found it makes things much more difficult, so I'm going to stick with it on. I'm going to go with Rose, who is going to have one of my Dragon Helms, and because she's got the Dark Dragoon armor, so that'll help her out. Also want her on the physical ring, because we need a lot of HP for this fight. Dancer Shoes, obviously. I wouldn't recommend using Hashel because no armor. I'm going to be using Albert because he does have the armor, and I gave my second Dragon Helm that I just found to him, because he's going to need the extra HP because of his really crappy magic defense. But you want him with the Jade Dragoon armor, bandit shoes, and his accessory not particularly important. I like the therapy ring just because he takes a lot of damage, and this kind of helps balance that out. You could use Meru for this fight. I wouldn't recommend it unless you have her her final edition highly leveled, or if you just, feel like using her. You can take on this fight a couple of different ways. I definitely don't recommend Kongal. He just doesn't do enough damage and takes way too much from this guy. Miranda, no, you really need to have more DPS available. So that's my setup. Now, we want to take this teleporter pad here. So if you remember last time, we finished up the other two teleporter pads. So take this path going here. Now, this one will lead back to where we came from. This one and this one both lead to the same spot, just different ports. So we'll move up here, and so that other one that I passed up there will lead me into that one. So we want to take this one to continue on. This area is much more confusing when you don't kind of map it out in your head, or, go through trial and error to try and figure out exactly where it is. Anyway, yeah, let's go and find out what we can do here. A dead end. Does this look like a dead end? Speaking of which, how is that big, huge stone thing in the middle being held up by that little tiny bridge over there? Oh yeah, right, physics. We know what they mean, we just don't want to employ them. Anyway, the bottom of Flanville, and because, we're RPG characters, falls of that height, no sweat. Yeah. Total death, huh? That's different from mega death and just normal death, right? "11,000 years. Been alive as long as Rose has. It's a miracle. No, it just requires a guide to find all the Stardust. Seems so. Yeah, I wouldn't be really surprised. How many immortal people have we met? People that have been alive for 11,000 years? Yeah. Being ageless, of course. They're not really immortal. None of the characters in this game are really immortal. They just don't age. Their time is stopped, I guess. It's kind of different. It's like eternal youth, I guess. Anyway, you're not ruling much. You've been stuck in here, presumably, for a very long time. Oh, so you've been trying to get your fortress up and moving again. And he's going to become king of the world. What are we going to do? We could finish him, but we should probably withdraw and set up better. I'm not too sure about my setup anymore. Anyway, we've got other more important things to deal with. Huh? You desire a painful, wretched death. Yeah, you don't have a choice. Once you get down this far, you're locked into the fight. So this is the magician Faust, and those druids surrounding him are not particularly, they're not actual enemies to fight. Now, this guy uses a number of powerful attacks. This one is probably going to one-shot me. At least that's what it usually does. 6,000, and yeah. The battle just started and I'm already dead. Help? Okay, depending on your luck, I try not to get hit by this. Maybe I'll turn this attempt into what not to do against this guy. I'll just demonstrate how his attack works. So what he does in this, and I'm probably going to have to use power down just to stay alive. But what you want to do against this guy is you want to hit him, but you have to be aware he is a counterattack boss. And he is also super, super fast. So I'm going to use power up, and I'm going to use power down on him, which should result in me being able to do a little bit of damage to him. But as soon as I do some damage to him, yeah, that's a lot of damage with a normal attack. However, he is going to have those druids focus around him, and then he's going to counter on me multiple times. This is the way this boss works. He will counter any character with their own element as a single attack, such as Burnout. He will also counter with an all-attacking attack to everyone, so it's going to hit everyone. On top of that, he can also use one of his special attacks, which is that big ball of fire they used at the start, which is super powerful. As well, he can use his normal attack, which can do up to 1,000 damage, and some other magical attacks that strictly target you. Like Lennis earlier in the game, he can hit you, 4 times in a row. In this case, I think this is either 4 or 5. So yeah. This battle can be extremely difficult if you're not prepared and if you get unlucky. See, I've gotten unlucky at the start, so I decided to just turn this into, a way to show off how this fight is going to play out. What types of attacks he can use. I'm not going to show off all of his attacks because he just takes way too long. But yeah, he just went like 4 times in a row, and, as you can see, you could heal, but what's that going to accomplish? I could have revived my characters. I'm not particularly worried about that. This one isn't going to be my actual attempt at the boss. I just wanted to kind of show off how you deal with this guy. Now, the reason why that attack did less damage is because his power down wore off because he got so many turns in. And as you can see, he'll always counter with like a burnout type attack, as well as something else. And having the Dragoon armor of that color, meaning like he's always going to counter with the same element you are. So in Dart's case, fire, red Dragoon armor nullifies that. That's why you want characters that can nullify it, so that you'll be able to stay alive. Now, I'm just going to attack him one more time to get game over, because I do want to show something off with game over that I just came across recently. Now, as you can see, I've already done nearly 17,000 damage to the guy. And this time he's using an ice attack to hit all enemies, which of course is going to do lots of damage to Dart. Not that it really matters, because he's basically dead anyway. Now, what I think I'm going to do is, because there are so many long animations to this fight, I think I'm just going to run through the battle, and then in post... Holy crap, that's a lot of damage. And run through the battle in fast forward in post, and then do post commentary on top of it. Anyway, so we have the game over screen here. And if you select X button, even though this is the North American version of the BIOS, and we normally cannot get to the screen, we can actually get here and load up our game properly now, which was kind of surprising, actually. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to have to black that out because spoilers, and I'll see you in a moment. Okay, here we go, and I think I sped this one up to about 150%. So what I want to do to the start of this battle is I want to start off with power down. Now for some reason, if you use speed down first and then power down, it doesn't seem to work as far as his defense lowering goes. So start off with power down so you can get the most out of Dart's first hit. How he's going to respond depends. I also use power down because if I didn't, then Albert would have died because it would have done 6,000 damage. So start off with power down, hit him with speed down, and then we want to use power up on Dart because even though Albert technically has more physical strength, Dart still does more damage for some reason. I don't know. Maybe it's the protagonist modifier for all his stats. But 6,700 damage with the first hit because power down and power up. Ow, that hurt. Yeah, so like I was saying before, he's going to counter with, a attack of the same element, which we can completely reduce with the right armor. And he's going to hit us with some other attacks. And holy crap, Rose has 6 HP left. So yeah, do not feel bad about having to heal in this fight. Unless you're using Legend Casks, you're gonna have to heal. So anyway, I like how the voices sound like they're from Worms or something. I gotta play Worms again. It's been a long time since I've played that. Anyway, this is that super attack that wasted Dart in the previous one, did over 4,000 damage. However, because power down is a thing, it's not going to do quite that much. There we go, very nice. Ooh. Seems to drop his physical strength by quite a bit. Now, the reason why I like this specific party for the fight instead of, say, Meru or something like that is simply for the damage output once we hit Dragoon form, which will happen at some point. Yeah, because of the randomness of who he's going to target, sometimes you'll be able to just throw a healing rain in and be done with it. Other times you'll have to heal people manually, use healing fogs, which I unfortunately had to do in this particular instance, but it's not a big deal. Healing fogs are cheap and we get a lot of money for this fight. So, some more damage later, and yeah, make sure you use guard because he is a counterattacking boss. Having anyone else attack outside of Dragoon form is just far too dangerous and not worthwhile at all. So, use power up on Dart and then have him be the only one who attacks because his damage is just that much better than everyone else's. So, he's going to be the DPS outside of Dragoon form. Eventually, I'll want to get into Dragoon form and activate Rose Storm to reduce the damage significantly. I think, if I remember, this is going to hurt. This killed Dart. Yeah, that's unfortunate, but, again, Angel's Prayer, back up, and then we're ready to go full Dragoon form. You want to initiate special mainly for additional damage for one character or another, but yeah, so Healing Rain, you want to go into Dragoon form with full HP. What I was trying to do is I wanted to use speed up on Albert so that he could get his turn in first once we got into Dragoon form, but unfortunately just couldn't do it, not with the way that this particular battle played out, so oh well. The idea is if you get speed up on him, he'll be able to get Rose Storm off you faster, which will, neutralize some more of the damage that he's going to do. Unfortunately, since I didn't get that in, he's going to get a couple of full power shots in after, when he's going to counter dart here. Yeah, this guy has crap for physical defense. However, he has really good magic defense, so there's no reason to use any type of magic against him, just a waste of time. But, yeah, that's a lot of damage there. The other thing that you should kind of know about this guy is, well, not necessarily this guy, but in general, when you're playing, it's like I was saying a couple episodes ago or whenever it was, once you get to learning your last level additions and get them mastered, they actually do more damage than your Dragoon additions. So, that being said, you usually want to deal with them when you're doing more damage. And obviously get Rose Storm on as soon as you can. Reduce damage and help you stay alive. Now, it would be useful to use Meru in this once we get to Dragoon form so that you have a good way of healing. You can't really use, Astral Drain to heal with Rose. It just doesn't do enough, and he has pretty high magical evade, so he does tend to evade it a lot. Hey, perfect. Cool. Rose's damage, not so great. 1500, not particularly good. But it is what it is, I guess. It's pretty cool how just the simple act of running a 150% speed filter through the audio just makes it sound so much different. It's pretty cool, actually. Anyway, so yeah, this guy, he hurts a lot, but with the proper protection and enough HP. That is really the key for this, at least my strategy, is lots of HP, heal, defend, and, take your shots, practically. Now, since, Dart, when he first started attacking, he was doing 670 some, or 6,700 some, and then after that, he was doing 5,000. That's because Power Down wore off, and so he was doing less damage at that point. But anyway, let's see if we can finish off this guy here. One more, come on. Yes, we got him. Anyway. And there we go. We finally beat the guy. I actually had to re-record a couple of times because the guy just was not giving me the luck that I wanted. Kept, taking two shots and two-shotting Albert multiple times. So this battle, like many in this game, is very much luck-based. There's only so much you can plan for. Anyway, we get 20,000 experience, 10,000 gold, and a Phantom Shield. Now, and lots of levels, of course. Almost everybody leveled up. So yeah, you get enough money, and the Phantom Shield can sell for 5,000 if you want to sell it. From this and the grinding that I've done, so I should have just enough right now to get the 3 Armor of Legends that I wanted to pick up. And since I already have the 3 Legend Casks, that's pretty much all the money I had intended on spending. So yeah, I planned that out better than I was expecting to. Usually I screw up and I overgrind because that's just kind of the way I am. Anyway, the Dragon campaign isn't finished until we stop Dart's father. So anyway, while we're here, let's pick up some treasure. And we get another magical hat, which might be useful at some point. A Holy Ankh, which sucks, and a Dancer's Ring, which I'll never use. So we get something that's kind of good, I guess. The Holy Ankh, I've shown you that before, haven't I? Yeah, I think it's, auto-revive with a given probability. I hate when games do this. Why are the values hidden? Give us numbers! Please give us numbers! Phantom Shield is actually quite good. Reduces damage from all attacks by half. That is like the combination of, where is it? A Legend Cask and a Armor of Legend all in one. However, because of the Legend Cask's magical evade rate, it's even better because that evade rate is just so abusive. Speaking of the evade rate of the legend casks, the way you're probably supposed to take on this boss is using them. So I wanted to show off that I could beat the boss without having to rely on them. However, I also want to show off how abusive it is if we use them. So, next time we will go back and take him on again, this time decked out with legend casks. Oh yeah. Anyway, that's all for this episode of Let's Play Legend of Dragoon, and I'll see you guys next time.